Now, what exactly are you seeking there?
We're concerned about travel in and out of the country as well as travel in and out of the state. I would ask that he seek court permission or permission from a probation officer before he does such travel.
Well, he's not been sentenced by the court, so he's not going to be on probation in the sense, but I'll say this. First off is to traveling outside the United States. I'm going to order that his passport be turned over effective immediately. Today, the attorney's already indicated to me he has his passport in his briefcase, so the passport's going to be surrendered to the court. Now, post 9/11, there's new Homeland Security procedures, so once we get the passport, it's going to be forwarded to the Department of Justice, and the Department of Justice is actually going to hold this, and they're going to put your name on a list so that you can't apply for another passport because they're going to know there's a freeze on it. So that'll be turned over to the government for that purpose. Now, in terms of travel restrictions, if he posts lawful bond, which I've been told that he's going to do that, there's a bondsman here, I don't see any reason to curtail his travel other than outside the United States. If he's anywhere in the United States and he fails to appear, you know, warrants can be easily issued and grabbed in another state, so that's not a problem. So I'm not going to put any restriction on his travel out of state, but out of the country, you're not going to be able to travel out of the country. You're going to have to stay in the United States because your passport's going to be surrendered. Do you understand that, Dr. Murray?
Yes.
Okay, are there any other restrictions you'd like, Mr. Waldron?
No, Your Honor.
Now, one of the other restrictions that I'm going to put that I told the attorneys, I'm going to limit your practice of medicine, all right, because I think the allegations that the government has raised in this case are significant, and I already discussed this with the attorneys, so they're aware of what I'm going to do. I understand that you have a license of practice based, I've already read the Attorney General's motion in its entirety, so you have a valid California license, and your attorneys have also told me that you have a valid license in the state of Texas. So what I'm going to do is both in California and the state of Texas, your practice is going to be restricted in this area. You may not, under any circumstances, use any anesthetic agent, such specifically propofol. You're not to be using that, you're not to prescribe that, you're not to have it in any manner whatsoever. Do you understand that? And you are not to give any other heavy sedative medications like that, okay, like propofol. I'm not a physician, but that are in the same class of those type of drugs that should only generally be administered by, you know, an anesthesiologist or in a specific setting such as a surgery center or possibly a hospital, obviously with proper monitoring gear. So I'm going to, you know, restrict your giving of that particular type of medication. Do you understand that? Now, you can continue to write prescriptions for, as I understand it, your attorneys told me you practice cardiology, so if you're going to write, you know, prescriptions for Lipitor or cholesterol medicines or things of that nature, that's fine. That's what a doctor's supposed to do, and I'm not in any way limiting to that, but I'm limiting any issues here where you would sedate people. In other words, I don't want you sedating people. Okay, now if you've got a partner or associates or other people like that that are going to be doing that, that's fine. But I'm worried about the sedation aspect of this.
Judge, can we be
Your Honor, may I be heard?
Sure.
We'd ask that that order also be expanded to cover not just California and Texas, but also Nevada and Hawaii and anywhere else he may be currently licensed in the United States of America.
Judge, you have to consider the difference. Understand what you just said, all right? Sedation is not the same thing as an anesthetic.
Well, I'm not talking about, if you, let me save you some time here. I'm married to a doctor, so I know a little bit about medicine. The point is this, I'm not talking about him, if he's got to, you know, stick a line in somebody for intravenous purposes and he's got to, you know, deaden the skin, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about deep sedation, okay, where you're putting somebody to sleep. I'm not talking about, you know, local anesthetic to remove like a blister or something like that. I'm talking about deep anesthetic. He is not to be prescribing that. He is not to be injecting that into somebody. Now, he can be in a room where another physician who's doing it, that's fine. I don't want him doing it. So that other person's going to be responsible for the sedation of the patient, not Dr. Murray.
He has no desire or interest in that, except I want to make clear that we're talking about the same thing, that's all.
Okay.
If the doctor may on occasion prescribe a pain medication on occasion.
not talking about that.
An anti-anxiety medication.
I'm not talking
You're
about
talking
that.
specifically about medications that are designed for anesthetic purposes.
Correct,
That puts them out.
correct.
All right, okay.
You know, if he's gonna give somebody some kind of medicine for pain, that's within the normal course of a doctor's prescription, okay?
All right.
All right, I'm talking about putting people under, where you inject them, like an anesthesiologist would, with propofol. You know, when people have surgery, that's what they're put under with.
No problem.
That's what I'm talking about.
Right. No problem.
You know, you have a sore tooth, you're not gonna give somebody propofol to get the pain out of your tooth. That's not reasonable. So, we on the same page here, Dr. Murray? You understand what I'm saying? Are there any other restrictions the government wishes?
Again, Your Honor, we'd like it expanded to cover all the states, including California, Texas, Hawaii, Nevada, and to be clear, the court's made it clear, I believe, that it does cover propofol.
Yes, absolutely. So anywhere that you practice medicine, anywhere you're licensed to practice medicine, anywhere in any of the states of the United States, that you're licensed to practice medicine, these restrictions apply. Do you understand that, Dr. Murray?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Is there anything else the government wishes, please?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Is there anything else the defense wishes?
No, Judge.
All right, Dr. Murray, you're going to be remanded to the custody of the Sheriff's Department. Your order to appear on 4/5/2010, Department 100 in the Fulton Center, and that'll be 0 of 90 days from that date. And if we can turn the passport over to my clerk, Stacy, and we'll get that to the Department of Justice. Anything else?
Judge, we have a bondsman available, as you know. We need to, so we're gonna go with the deputy right now just to post that bail. And
That's
we'll
fine.
find out.
The sheriff will take Dr. Murray, and Sergeant Taylor will direct you to the bondsman where to go. Yeah, we need his, they're going to give it to us right now. All right, thank you. Have a nice day, please.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.